And of course, my macho dad threw a fit, and he started calling the house collect every day, threatening to kill my stepfather, which I think is hilarious that my poor stepfather had to pay for his own death threats.
Welcome to This Is Not Happening. I'm Roy Wood Jr. We all come from somewhere, from someone who nurtures us, protects us, and teaches us. Some are better at it than others. Roll, please give it up for Brandt Tobler.
So this is the story about how I tried to kill my dad. Trust me, it's hilarious. Trust me. So you guys have heard the term blood is thicker than water, right? I hate it. My dad must have said it to me 1,000 times growing up. Blood is thicker than water, son. Blood is thicker than water, son. And I just started to hate it because I think it's what family members say to you when they do something shitty, and instead of apologizing, they're just like, hey, we have the same blood type, so you have to put up with this shit. So I would hear it all the time. My dad would miss like basketball games and graduation, and he'd always say, blood is thicker than water, son. And he ended up missing most of my childhood, because when I was 5 years old, he went away to college. Well, that's what my mom called it. You guys would, of course, call it maximum security prison. And every couple of years on spring break, he would get out and he would come visit my little brother and I. And luckily, my mom remarried and we had a great stepdad who taught us how to ride a bike and build a fire, stuff that you're supposed to learn from your dad. Because when my dad would come to town, he would teach me the stuff he knew about. So, for instance, my dad taught me 3 things in life I'll never forget. Number 1, you never snitch, no matter what. Number 2, if you have extra food at lunchtime, you only give it to white people. Weird to tell a 4th grader, I agree. And the craziest one of all, my dad got out on spring break one year and he came back home to visit us and he took me and my little brother swimming. We had a great day at the pool, jumping off the diving board, playing Marco Polo, and I got out of the pool and I'm in the locker room and I'm taking a shower. And my father comes in and he sees me shower and he's like, hold on, son, get out of the shower for a sec. I was like, why, what's up, Dad? He goes, son, every time you take a shower from now on, before you get in the shower, put the water on as cold as it can go, and then get in that cold water and shadow box until you count to 15. I was like, Dad, why would I do that? And he's like, son, the way your body reacts when that cold water hits it is the same it'll react if you ever get stabbed. So if you ever get stabbed, you'll be able to fight for 15 seconds. That's what my dad tells a fucking 12-year-old. And like an idiot, I do that shit till I'm like 19, and I get a girlfriend, and she's like, why are we fake fighting in this cold shower? Like, you better be ready, bitch. It could go down at any time. This shit is real. So that's my dad. So my dad only did one good thing for me in life. Of course, I had a wonderful stepdad, and before I was about to start junior high, he set me and my little brother down, and he said he wanted to adopt us and have us take his last name like we were his sons. And of course, my macho dad threw a fit, and he started calling the house collect every day, threatening to kill my stepfather, which I think is hilarious that my poor stepfather had to pay for his own death threats. But he would call and he would remind us, blood is thicker than water, you're my son. And he eventually sent some goons over to the house to like scare my stepdad. And my mom made a decision, like, forget it, let's just keep your last name. Which is the only good thing that my father ever did for me. Because if my stepdad would have adopted me, I would have started junior high school as Brandt Huffendick. Which I think has got to be the shittiest last name in the world. My poor little sister is named Haley Huffendick. I don't know why she didn't get married at midnight on her 18th birthday, but she didn't do it. So that was my dad. And then after that, he disappeared for like 8 years. And I never heard from him. And I went to real college in Phoenix. And then, well, junior college, so kind of real, but I went. But then one day I got a letter out of nowhere, and it was from my dad, and he just said, I'll be at the Phoenix airport in 3 days, and I'd love to see you. And there's no time to write back, just I'll be looking for you. I didn't know what to do because I was doing so good in life, and I hadn't seen him in almost a decade. But then part of me is like, I got to go see my dad. So I went to the airport, which was one of the weirdest moments in my life, because this was before 9/11, so you could go from gate to gate. And when I got to the airport, I realized I didn't even know what my own dad looked like. So I'm looking in the bars and bookstores. I'm like, is that my dad? Is that my dad? And then, of course, I saw a guy with a ponytail, wife beater, brown khaki pants. I'm like, there's my dad. So I run over, I give him a hug, and we both fight back tears. And he tells me how much he missed me and how blood is thicker than water. And he's determined to be part of my life again. And he said, I'm moving to Vegas. I have this incredible cocktail waitress girlfriend. And you're allowed, you can come see us whenever you want. And I was like, okay, Dad, thanks. I got to go back to college. And I drove back to my dorm. And when I got to my dorm, I called my two best friends back in Wyoming who also had shitty dads growing up. And I told them this story. And they're like, we should go see your dad on our spring break. And I was like, all right, cool. So they drove down from Wyoming and they picked me up in Phoenix. And we went to Vegas on our spring break and spent 5 days with my dad, which was incredible because we were just dumb kids from Wyoming. He taught us about like hookers and craps, seafood buffets. We were like, holy shit, this is incredible. So at the end of the 5 days, he's like, you guys are welcome to come back whenever you want. You can live with me and my girlfriend in this trailer. And we were like, sorry, Dad, we got to go back to college. And they started driving me towards Phoenix. And every mile we got away from Vegas, we were just itching to get back. And by the time we got to Phoenix, the three of us idiots made the decision that we were going to drop out of college and move back to Vegas to get our dream jobs as pirates at the Treasure Island. We thought, what would be better than wearing an eye patch and jumping off a big ship every hour while drunk tourist chicks scream at us. We're like, that's it. That's the dream job. So we dropped out of college. Our families are furious with us, and we moved to Vegas. And, of course, we don't get pirate jobs. We didn't know anything about casting or any of that shit. And so my friends sober up, and they go back home to Wyoming and re-enroll in college. But I was enjoying hanging out with my dad, and I didn't want to leave, so I decided to stay. And then one day I actually got the dream job. I would go play basketball every afternoon with a bunch of professional gamblers, and one of them hired me to be a runner. So my job was just to carry hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cash up and down the strip and bet on sports. So it was great. I was making a ton of money. Everything was good. So I told my dad, we're moving out of this trailer, and I rented this beautiful house on a golf course. And I started calling my little brother, who lived in Portland at the time, just a little stoner dude that ran a Subway. And I told him, you got to come to Vegas. It's me, you, and Dad. We can finally be a perfect little family again. And he's like, all right. And he moved to Vegas, and we had a great time the first 6 months. We'd sit on the back porch every night, just get drunk, tell stories. He'd tell us about prison riots and shit, and we'd tell him about scoring 8 points in a JV basketball game or whatever shitty stories we had. He obviously had much better stories. But he was always just waiting to get off parole. He's like, I can't wait to get off parole. I can be my own man again. And he'd talk about it every day, and we counted down the days till he finally got off parole. And I remember I threw a big party at the house, invited all our family and friends over, and we just got wasted. And I remember about 4 in the morning, it's just me and my dad and brother in the kitchen. And we're just telling him how proud we are, and we're just drunk, and it's just this incredible moment. And then, that is the last good moment I'll ever have with my dad. Because the next morning he woke up, got back on drugs, started bringing around like little 20-year-old meth heads to my house, even though they're younger than me. My dad's like 48 at the time. He starts just acting like a drug addict, stealing my friends' wallets, forgetting my birthday, just being a shitty dad. And I knew it was going bad, but I didn't know how to get out of it. And, it's hard to yell at your own dad. And I knew it was going to happen. And then on a Saturday during football season, I'd have to bet college football all day. So I'd get to the strip at 8 in the morning. I'd run up and down and bet till like 9 o'clock at night. Then I'd go home, go to bed, and then do the same thing for NFL on Sundays. So on this Saturday, I work my ass off. I come home, I'm exhausted. When I get home, my dad's there all cracked out. And I tell him, hey, Dad, I'm going to bed. You can come down tomorrow and get everything comped if you want to watch football. He's like, okay, son. And I went to sleep about 10 o'clock. Around midnight, my little brother busts in, and he's like, hey, Brandt, someone stole my money. My little brother had saved up $350 to fly to Portland to watch his girlfriend graduate college. So I jump out of bed like the big brother, and I run downstairs to try to find my dad and tell him to find whatever little shitty kid took my brother's money. So when I get downstairs, I don't see him, and I'm yelling for him, and I go look in the garage because my white trash dad had this stupid convertible Camaro that he thought was like the dopest car in the world, and it always had to be parked in the garage. So when I got in the garage and I looked and his Camaro was gone, it hit me, oh shit, I got all my money upstairs. And I ran upstairs, and my dad had stole $80,000 cash from me. And now I worked for guys that you don't want to be $80,000 short for. Obviously, not that there's any job you could be $80,000 short for. But I'll never forget that. And I see my little brother crying, and I'm like, you stole $80,000. Why would you go steal your own son's $350? You know, and it just drove me crazy. And to watch my little brother cry, you know, I brought him from Portland. He was doing good, and I brought him into this shit. So in that moment, I made the decision. I'm like, that's it. I'm gonna fucking kill my dad. I'm gonna fucking kill my dad. So the next morning, I wake up and I call my cousin Cato, who lives in Phoenix, and he's like a real gangster and the most loyal dude in my life. And I tell him what happens. He says, I'll be there in 5 hours. And he drives straight from Phoenix to Vegas, and when he gets there, doorbell rings, I open the door, and there he is. He's like, where's he at? Where's he at? I was like, hold on, I got a plan. Now, in my defense, I was 23 years old. I'd never killed anybody before. This is before Dexter, Breaking Bad. This is obviously a fucking stupid plan, but this was my plan. My mom had told me a story that when I was young, my dad had cheated on my mom and got chlamydia, and he had to go to the doctor, and the doctor prescribed him penicillin, not knowing that he was deathly allergic to penicillin. So he took that penicillin, and he almost died. So in my head, I was like, that's it. You know, almost every morning, my dad would go to the Jamba Juice, like 3 blocks from my house, get a Jamba Juice. I mean, that was like his favorite thing. So I figured, fuck it. If I just get some penicillin, put it in a Jamba Juice, give it to my dad, he'll drink it, he'll be dead. Perfect, airtight plan. So I tell my cousin, he's like, all right, I mean, I can get penicillin. So he's like, well, you can get anything, trust me. So he's like, all right. I go, one more part of this plan. Everyone will think like I'm the number one suspect. So I'm going to go to Colorado, and you guys just take care of this shit. They're like, all right, you're kind of a pussy, but we'll do it. I was like, all right, good. I don't want to go to college like my dad. So I fly to Colorado. You know, me and my girlfriend go to Estes Park. We go to a hotel, and I call my cousin Cato. I'm like, yo, are you ready? He's like, we're ready. Extra large mango in the fridge. Just waiting for your dad to come home. I was like, all right, cool. Call me when he's dead. He's like, all right. So I wait about an hour, 2 hours, no phone call. I call him back. I'm like, yo, what happened? They're like, well, your dad came home, but he wouldn't take it. I was like, what do you mean he wouldn't take it? Like, we gave him the Jamba Juice, but he just put it back on the kitchen counter. I was like, and looking back, I get it. You know, my dad was in Leavenworth in real prison, so he knows you don't take, like, a gift from your enemy, you know? I don't think he thought we were trying to kill him, but he probably thought we pissed in it or something stupid, right? So I said, you know what? Forget it. This plan's stupid. Just go with the original plan, pack up my brother's stuff, go to Phoenix, I'll fly home. We'll just never talk to my dad again. My cousin's like, nah, fuck that. We do it my way now. I'm like, what's your way? He's like, we do it my way. We'll call you in an hour. And he hung up the phone. And I just sat there in that hotel like, what are they going to do? And this is the plan they came up with. So they knew my dad loved that stupid Camaro, and it always had to be parked in the garage. So what they did was they opened the garage door, and then they went out and they cut the phone lines and the power lines, and they just waited for my dad to come home in this dark corner in the garage. Sure enough, my dad came home just like they thought, parked in the garage, hit the button to get the garage door to shut. It wouldn't shut. They said he was so frustrated he didn't know what was going on, and he got out of the car, went over, got the garage door, manually shut it, and locked it. And as soon as he locked it and started to walk back through the garage into the house, my brother and cousin jumped out with golf clubs and tried to kill him in the garage with golf clubs. But they were fucking idiots because there was no light. So they're swinging their hearts out, almost killing each other. It's like we needed a better murder caddy. They fucked it all up. But there was only the only light coming into the garage was there was a side door that led to the backyard, and at the bottom of that side door there was a little doggy door, and there was a little light coming through, and my dad saw that light, and he just put his shoulder down and ran and bust through that door and fell into the backyard, jumped over the back wall onto the golf course and ran away. And that was like 17 years ago, and I've never saw him or spoke to him since that day. So my brother and cousin go to Phoenix. 3 days later, I fly back from Colorado. And I'll never forget, I was standing in the garage with this garden hose trying to clean up the mess they made. And that's when it hit me. I was like, my dad was right this whole time. His blood is way thicker than water. I'm Brandt Tobler. You guys have been awesome. Thank you, guys.